Get the heck out of my way.
Yeah, I know. It runs into your camera.
Right. It happens all the time. Billy Yurchuk, good to have you back here joining me at the concourse. Lots to talk about here. I know you had a trip that we'll talk about. Well, let's do that first. You were down in Niagara, and how was that?
Yeah, it was good. So we like Stannis Manis. We were sad to see him go, as I said last time, but good trade for the Sting. But they were in Niagara playing, so we took the drive down and watched them play.
Nice drive.
Good game. Yeah, sitting behind the bench, and they lost 6-4, which is surprising because Niagara is a little low in the ranks. But,
right.
It was a lot of fun to go down there. And in fact, a little story: before the game, we were having some dinner in some restaurant,
right?
And Christine had her battalion jersey on, and a guy come over and he said, "Oh, are you up from up there? Or are you somebody's parents?" And it turned out to be LeBlanc's dad.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, we were talking to him for a minute. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and he had some good things to say.
Yeah, well, actually, and they played the night before, I think, in Hamilton, and he goes, "Oh, it was my birthday. I didn't make it. I didn't get off the couch."
Oh, right.
I'm not sure if I admit that to your son's
well,
playing. And
they're
from Port Credit,
game.
right? Yeah, we're from
right.
Port Credit, so every time they come down this end of the world, he goes to see them. So, it was kind of neat to see him.
Nice to go to other barns, right, and enjoy a hockey game. And how did you find, I think most are welcoming to the opposition fans, but sometimes...
Yeah, for the most part it was. Well, yeah, actually, for all the part it was. We didn't have any issue. And
were you wearing your Sting jerseys and stuff?
No, no. Christine wore the battalion jersey, and I just dressed normal. But it was good. And one thing I commented on is the mascots. It's a small item, but I think it's important. The mascots that actually put skates on and go on the ice.
Oh,
like the Knights do. The Ice Dogs mascot does. So they're skating around, interacting, and ours don't have it. Not to say ours don't do a good job, but it'd just be neat if they were actually on skates.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
all right,
just
there
something
you go.
that we noticed.
I'll mention that to the powers to be.
Yeah, you're with the up and ups here now.
Yeah, right. I just know how to wear a tie. Lee Cunningham says, Dave, you wear a tie really well. Thank you.
Good,
That's because he never wears a tie.
No, my tie days are over.
We can't get Lee Cunningham to wear a tie.
I would if I had to.
We tried to tell him it was in his contract, and he didn't like that.
Oh, maybe a Bolle or
maybe.
Like that.
No, not Lee. Well, that's good. You had a nice trip and got to enjoy some hockey. I was out at Krabby Joe's last night. Last night. And watching the game, they actually had the away game on.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see. Enjoy the away games.
Yeah, it's nice to see that because then you really get a perspective of what's happening on the road, right?
Yeah, for sure, right? And all the arenas are built differently. Some are, like I say, back to Lee Cunningham, I've heard him talk about some of the places they have to set up to do, like, it's tinier than what we've got right here. And it's kind of like you're trying to, but they were built 120,000 years ago.
Yeah, they're memorial arenas.
And a lot of moving around right now, with Brampton moving, the Steelheads moving and all that stuff. There's a lot of things happening around the OHL. But so some of the things that are happening here, I mean, we're still right on the fringe of things. Like, they did pretty good on the road there. They had 3 wins. There was a loss last night, right? And now Erie's in town, and you just said you saw Benny Gaudreau walking by.
He just came in the door. He had like a walking cast on his right foot, so he obviously won't be playing.
Good for us.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Sorry, Benny.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, it is good for us. He's, so he's out of the lineup, but it's good to be here for, they're going to thank him tonight and, say goodbye to him officially. And
yeah, for sure.
It's always nice to see.
I'm going to put my Googles on here because we've got quite a few scratches here, Billy. We've got... like even Carson Charchet is out.
Oh,
right? I'm not sure what's going on there. Owen McDonald, I suspect he's going to be off for quite some time
I agree, yeah.
I don't know. We'll playoffs if we get there. It'd be nice to see him, but I don't know. That sounds like a pretty... When you break bones, it takes time.
And they want them to set right. They don't want to come back too early and break it again.
Right? Yeah. Zach Felak still off, but I do have report. Like, he's okay.
Yeah.
Like, he's home, and I think they're just making sure about things, right? And then James Barr's off.
Yeah.
Dalen Moses is off for suspension, right?
Right, 2 games, right?
2 game, what do you call that? 2 game progressive...
progressive discipline.
Yeah. what he said. It's the reason I had the old referee here first, but he'll be back tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And then, of course, Alex Kajovic.
Yeah.
Who took a really hard hit. Did you see that game at all?
I did, yeah. Sorry, we heard it on the radio.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, this was, I looked away and looked back, and he was down.
Yeah.
And it didn't look good for taking him away. So our guys have been taking some hard hits, Billy.
Yeah.
And I think when that happens, is that a hit to the ego or a hit to the
I think
mindset of the team?
Frustration level, because they think that, they're on a nice roll and they rely on guys like that, and then all of a sudden they're not there. Other guys, it's their opportunity to step up.
Yeah.
But I think, it's a little bit disheartening when you lose guys that, are factors in the game for sure.
Yeah, and Kuchenberg is gone. He's gone back to Europe, so
hopefully everything's okay there.
I just don't think he was playing a lot.
Yeah.
And, who knows? There's a lot of rumors going around.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
He's gone back home, so. I don't know. Will you miss him as a player?
Well, hard to say no, right? But not really.
Yeah,
he wasn't a standout. He filled a position, but I think there's guys that could be equally or more effective.
I think we expected more from him.
Yeah,
and didn't get it. That was my feeling, right?
Especially one of our. I hate to call them imports. That's a terrible word to call them, but that's what they call them in the league. But hate to lose an import because you only get a couple, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll see what that changes around here. I want to go back. We saw Filak get taken off. We saw Bright. That's terrible.
Jovic.
No, Kajovic, but no, here, like last week.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw, a lot going on out there. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to come back to your opinion as a former ref in a moment. But first I want to say, post-game, Alan Letang came out, wasn't even asked, and was just your thoughts on tonight's game. And he basically sort of said, we worked through a lot of frustrations and obstacles and horrible officiating.
Yes.
And I was you can't see me. I'm off to the side, right? and so just a story there. I'm off to the side, and Al's wife is always usually in the room when he's there. And I went like this, and her and I just looked at each other at the same time, and we were like, oh.
Yeah.
Because you don't say that.
No.
Right? And I don't know if he got a fine or I haven't heard yet, but that's grounds for a fine, I think.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, unless the league looks at it and says, yeah, he's right. But you don't, and he was, but you don't, of course, you're not supposed to say publicly, but last time we were on there, we talked about the fact that he doesn't say much about it.
Yeah.
So when he speaks, people may listen because he means it, and they probably deserve it. And
that's right.
I think this is a good
example. Well, that's what made
me
me think of it. I was like, well, and I did talk to Al's wife, Christy, after, and we were both like, wow. And she's like, and I said, but if anybody as a coach can get away with that, it would be Coach Alan Letang. And I was thinking about what you had said about he doesn't yell, he doesn't, but if he does, we really screwed up here.
Yeah.
And I think that's a respect thing from the referees to a coach like Alan Letang.
He's got NHL credibility, he's got Team Canada credibility, and he has the credibility of his integrity and attitude on the ice or on the bench, where he doesn't say anything unless it's deserved. So I think he probably got heard. Whether it gets a fine or not is irrelevant, quite frankly, because sometimes that just has to be said.
Yeah.
And we talked earlier. Brad Beer's in the building. He's an OHL supervisor. I refereed with Brad, and good guy. And that's very common, by the way, to have supervisors in the arena. But at this level, maybe that's why he's here. Maybe it's not. I don't know that, but
sometimes. Oh, I just unplugged myself. There we go. Sometimes, that's like having a police presence.
Right.
You don't really have to, and you're a former police officer, know. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to park the car in the right spot and just wave and go, how you doing, guys?
Yeah, wave the flag.
That's it, right? Yeah. So maybe that's kind of what you're suggesting, maybe why he's here.
Yeah, maybe.
To just say, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
Have an eye on things. Yeah.
I'm not sure who the officials are yet, but.
I don't know. I would say, I can tell you here, if I get my Googles back on. I think we have them here. No, they didn't. Oh, yeah, here we go. Referees Jack Hennigan, Ryan Jenkin, Brad Horan, and Curtis Pear.
Oh, yeah. So some familiar names, but nobody that stands out really.
Yeah, okay. So you sort of said it a moment ago. You agree then that game we're referring to was horrible officiating? Would you agree with that statement?
And, a lot of times when it's horrible officiating, as long as it's balanced on both sides, then it's not, it's noticeable, but at least it's equitable. And, whether the referees didn't have the opportunity to make calls because, they played cleaner, whatever the case is. But when it's lopsided like that, it kind of tends to stand out. And you will see referees that will never admit it, but and we talked about this a while ago, like they do kind of try to make, some make-up calls. It's really hard in hockey to do that, or even at least not even make one up, but really be eagle-eyed to find one to even it up, but there wasn't any indication of that. So obviously they felt that they were legitimate calls, and in their eyes they were, but Allen's they weren't, so...
Yeah, it was interesting, needless to say. All right, well, we're here tonight. Erie's in town. You mentioned Benny Gaudreau's off, obviously, and they're probably going to say a few things about him tonight.
Yeah.
And what do you expect to see out of this game here, real quick?
Well, I think the team would have been pumped up if Benny was in the net just because of all the celebration that's going on, but maybe a little bit of relief, as you said, that he's not in the net. So, they're chasing Erie. They're 7 points behind, so we really need the 2 points. Yeah, Erie's got 50 and we have 43. So we
got to get in there if we're going to make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get 2. We're staying ahead of Windsor, but, one thing to think about, if we do get out, I know it's early for playoffs, but if we get into 7th place and stay that, and everyone else stays the same, then we're not playing London in the first round.
Good points in there. Yeah, well, it's kind of I don't know if strategic's the word, but those positionings really can make a difference when you come out of the gate of playoffs. And as Alan Tanga said, we got to start playing playoff. I think they've already started playing playoff hockey from what we saw on the road there. And a couple games here, but playoff hockey's a whole different animal. It gets a lot more physical, and it's crunch time, right? Well, we'll see what comes out here. We're just a few seconds away from things getting underway here.
Big game Sunday, San Francisco versus Kansas City Swifties, so that should be a good game.
Okay, you're into that, are you?
Well, Super Bowl, man.
I know. Yeah. I'm going to be on a plane.
You missed that. Kansas City Swifties. Did you catch that?
I did catch that.
Okay, good. Thanks. Did you catch that?
I
should have been to a stand-up.
I almost. Let me tell you. It was something. It was something.
I'd still like to see the video.
I have it. I'll share it with you. And I scarred my son, I can tell you that. Yeah. He heard things come out of Dad's mouth. He was like, he's heard the F-bomb,
Sure,
but
of course,
the way I put it,
You're digging deep,
I was. I'll tell you one in a moment. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, man.
No, it's okay. Here we are. We got to get things underway. Billy, thanks for joining me. Connor Burke will be joining me first period, and Lee Baisley later on at the second period as well. So
mixing it up.
Yeah. Thanks to all of you. Jay Peckham, we give him a shout out. He's not feeling too well again tonight.
Hope you're feeling well, Jay.
He's home resting things up. We're thinking about you, buddy.
Yeah, we're talking about you again.
That's right. We had to.
I know.
I would have got a text. Why haven't you mentioned my name? Okay. All right. That's it. Live from the Sarnia Sting Concourse. I'm David Burrows. This is my dear friend, Billy Yurchuk. 1, 2, 3.
Go Sting, go!